Dear students, I welcome you in the online classes organized by IPS. Dear students, this is our lecture number 15 on the subject of research methodology. Dear students, if you remember, we started our journey with the definition of research, and then we discussed some of the qualities of a good researcher and how can we plan a good research. Dear students, then we moved towards the steps of research and we entered into the arena of methodology. And after discussing some methodologies, we focused our attention what could be the ideologies of what could be the methodologies of research in language and in literature. As the students of literature, we were interested in such methodologies which may help us in the field of language and literature. Dear students, throughout this journey, I kept you reminding that our target is number one, to be able enough to write a research proposal, and number two, to have familiarity with the methodology of research, so that when inshallah after one more semester you would be into the practical field, that is the field of research, then you should have enough knowledge about the methodology of research and you may not feel any trouble, you may not feel any problem when you would enter into this practical field of research. So, dear students, we are now very near to that destination, very near to that target that we have set for ourselves at the start of these online classes. Dear students, in some previous lectures we discussed research questions, statement of the problem, hypothesis, and then how can we write literature review, and finally how can we organize and analyze data. Dear students, in all those lectures I made it clear that these are the parts of not only your research proposal but also your research thesis. So, today we are going to use all these previous lectures, right from the methodologies, to research questions, to the statement of problem, to the hypothesis, to the literature review, and finally to the collection and analysis of data into a single piece, and that single piece would be called research proposal. Dear students, this is the first target that we have achieved, and hopefully in the previous 14 lectures you must have enough knowledge now that can be used in the field of research as a practical researcher. Dear students, we are now very near to our target, very near to our destination. So today's topic is research proposal, how to write research proposal. So a lecture outline is very short, that research proposal and what should be the design of research proposal, as usual, an exercise at the end. Dear students, what is a research proposal? A provisional way of presenting all the parameters of research in a logical order is known as a research proposal or proposal writer. Dear students, this is just a provisional, temporary, tentative way, because you are just providing a structure, you are just providing a map, a road map to your research. So, this is not the complete thesis that you are going to write. You are just providing a kind of sketch what you are going to do in your research thesis. So, this must clear all the parameters, all the limitations and the boundaries of your research. It should be logical as well, in an organized manner. Right from the start, we have been discussing that research is an organized and systematic process. Now, writing a research proposal is a useful practice. It gives direction to our research and we have a plan in our hand to move forward. So as I have said, it is a kind of roadmap. It will lead you towards your destination, and your destination is writing a research thesis. So it will give and provide a kind of direction to you towards your goal. A good proposal means that we have the foundation and the structure, and we have to just fill the blank spaces. So it provides a foundation as well as structure. And what you will have to do in your research is you have to fill the blank spaces and the thesis would be read. A good proposal means half the work of thesis is done. So well begun is half done, and it is the beginning. It's the start and the beginning, and the opening will be good, sound and strong. Naturally, the end of the innings would be splendid. Now, what should be the design of the research proposal? Normally, a research proposal consists of the following divisions of chapters. Dear students, these are not the hard and fast rules of the division that I am presenting. There might be some changes according to the nature of the research. But by and large, you would see the same kind of design all over the world in research thesis as well as in research proposal. So first of all is title page. And what do we write on the title page? Title of the research, your topic, then name of the supervisor who is supervising you, name of the researcher, your own good name, and name of the institution. So these are the components of title. Then chapter 1, introduction. Chapter 2, literature review. Chapter 3, methodology. Chapter 4, data collection and analysis. Chapter 5, conclusion, and then references. Dear students, if you look at the division of these chapters, you would come to know that we have done most of the work. We have discussed all these topics under one lecture. For example, we have a separate lecture for literature review, then we have discussed so many methodologies. We have a separate lecture for data collection and analysis. But we have not discussed yet properly, that is a reference. And I am going to discuss references in our next one or two lectures. So that would complete our structure, our foundation. And I hope it is very sound and strong. Now, chapter 1. We are going to discuss what we will write in our research proposal in different chapters. And introduction, the first chapter is very important because actually the people read the introduction and they become familiar what you are going to do in your next attempt, that is research thesis. So this is very important and significant part of our research proposal as well as our research thesis. The background of the area of interest is elaborate. To explain in this chapter, how did this idea occur? Why have you become interested in this topic and this problem? Then, the reasons of how did you become interested in the problem are presented logically. There should be some logic. As you will mention that you have become interested in a certain topic, then you will have to present logic. Why have you become interested? Whether the topic was of magnified nature or of very significant, or the problem was of such nature that have attracted you. So you have to be logical in this expression of your interest in certain topic. The references are made about the other researches in the same area or relevant to the topic of the research. Naturally, you will become interested in some problem or in some topic, then you have read about it. When you have read the relevant literature, you will come across such kind of problem, such kind of topic, and you then became interested. So you will have to provide some background of your study. You have to be logical in such a way that you may convince your reader that as you have gone through so much literature relevant to this topic, to this area, so during that reading, you became interested in this topic and in this area. So you have to give references of what you have read. Then, methodology of the research is explained by presenting the logic for the choice of this particular methodology. So this, why I was saying that introduction is very important, because you discuss so many things about your research in this chapter. So this chapter is very important, whether it is the writing of the proposal or it is writing of the thesis. So you will explain why you have selected such and such a methodology. You have to present some logic to make the reader believe that this methodology is suitable for the kind of research you are going to do. So there should be some connection between your methodology and your nature of research. A reference to those theories, social, psychological, literary and linguistics, we serve the background of study are made. So you are going to make a kind of reference to all such theories or theories that is going to support you in your research. Actually, you will present a logic about your theoretical background. What are the theories on the basis of which you are going to analyze this problem and move forward in your study? Then the first part, that is 1.1, is the significance of the study. It is stated in the logical terms how much significant the study will prove, because your research, as we have discussed at the very start, should make a significant difference in the existing body of knowledge. If it is not doing so, then your research is of no value. So you have to give in logical terms what it will add in the existing corpus of knowledge in the area, and what research gap it is going to fill. You have to point out that in this area there are so many researchers, but still there is some gap, and your research will fill that gap. It means that you have to present the logic. Why are you interested and why are you studying this topic or this area? And there is some vacuum, some space, and in this area or on this topic. And when you will do your research according to this proposal, then your research will fill that gap. And 1.2 of the same chapter, that is of introduction, is the statement of the problem. Dear students, we have complete one lecture how to state this problem. The problem that the study is going to solve is stated logically, and how the study is going to tackle and solve the problem. So you actually give your plan about the solution of the problem, about the research questions that you have set. You want to research the answers or search the answers or find the answers of those research questions. So you have to give a plan how you are going to do it. Then objectives of the study. 1.3 of the same chapter of introduction. The subchapter. The objectives of the study are made clear by stating what future contribution it is going to make in this particular field. So these are the objectives, and there might be other objectives as well in the solution of that problem. But one of the objectives is that your research should make some contribution, future contribution in this particular field. Then 1.4 research question. If you remember, dear students, we have one complete lecture about the even I think if I remember correctly, and then we have two complete lectures about the research questions, because these are very important. So research questions are searched very carefully, and the future research is going to find the answers of these questions. The research questions are focused and comprehensive. Dear students, we have two complete lectures or 2 weeks about research questions, and we have discussed the types of research questions. Then we have taken the practical examples how to set such kind of research questions. Then next section is 1.5 delimitation. The delimitations of the study are stated. The area, finance, time, limitations are clearly described. So you will delimit your study. For example, what could be the delimitation? One of the delimitation may be that you are focusing only one novel of Jane Austen, but she has written 6 novels. So in delimitation, you will make a clear statement that you are focusing only one novel of Jane Austen. Similarly, if you are focusing only 3 short stories of Henry, for example, then you will make it clear that you are not going to study all the stories of the short stories of Henry, but just 3 stories. Similarly, there might be some problem of finance, some problems of time. You will clearly mention delimitation. Then design of the study, subsection 1.6. You will give what would be the division of chapters in your research thesis, and this you are giving in your research proposal, and you are making it clear that this will be the division of your research chapters. Dear students, the second chapter of your research proposal as well as of research thesis would be literature. And again, I want to remind you that we have one whole complete lecture about literature review, how to write literature review, and then what should be its arrangement. The review of the related literature is written and commented upon relating it to the topic of the study. Dear student, it is just not the quotation or the quotations of the past researches in your area or on your topic, but actually you make a review of it, means you comment upon it. Also, it is pointed out where this study will fit and adjust itself, because there are so many other people who have done the research in your area or on your topic. So, what is your difference from those studies, and where your study will fit and adjust itself? The previous studies related to the topic or the methodologies are discussed. It is stated how this study is different from the other. Then, this chapter helps to form the background of the study, because when you read the researches of so many people in order to review them, naturally you build up your knowledge about this area as well as about your topic. Then chapter 3, research methodology. Dear students, it is very important chapter of your research proposal as well as research thesis, because most of the people focus on this chapter, and through this chapter they try to gauge and guess the value of your study. So, the theories which are the guiding principles of this study, or the theories in the light of which the problem is studied, or the theories in which the present study will be embedded, are discussed and related to the study. This forms the theoretical framework of the study. Sometimes for theoretical framework we have separate chapter, but most of the time we discuss theoretical framework within chapter 3 of research methodology. And what we study or what we write in theoretical framework, we mention all those theories and their postulates which are supporting our research, which are supporting our research methodology. Or sometimes through our research we try to prove something already existing theory. So that would also be mentioned. How we are going to prove that theory or disprove that theory. So we will mention all such kind of theories which form the background of our study, or in which our research is actually embedded. The research methodology and its suitability for the present study are discussed in logical and clear terms. Even in chapter 1, that is our introduction, we discuss the suitability of our methodology, that is research methodology for this particular study. But still we discuss the suitability of this methodology, and we discuss it very logically, and we discuss it by making a reference to other studies that some other people have also done and used the same methodology for similar kind of topics. Chapter 4, and that is data collection and analysis. If you remember, we have full one lecture for this chapter as well. And this chapter is not only the part of your research proposal, but also the part of your research thesis. And it is very important as well, because whatever the data you have collected will form this chapter, and also the analysis is the part of this chapter. Data is collected, or data are collected and analyzed in the light of research methodology. The analysis is carried out in the light of a research question. The analysis should point out and direct it toward the solution of the problem. The nature of the study decides whether it is qualitative or quantitative analysis, and it is also mentioned in the methodology, that is the previous chapter of chapter 3. So this would be the chapter 4, and in this chapter we are going to analyze the data through the methodology that we have mentioned in chapter 3. So analysis should point out towards the solution of the problem, towards the answer of your research questions. Now, chapter 5, that is the last chapter, and very important area, because you are going to sum up and draw some result. And the result, if your result is successful in finding the answer of your research question, then your research will become valuable. So it is time to sum up the study. This chapter sums up what has been analyzed in the previous chapter clearly, stating the answer of each research question. So it should be very arranged kind of conclusion, and you must take care that your conclusion is actually setting the answer of your research question. It is a logical and to the point statement of the results of the study. The areas of the research for the future researchers are suggested, and recommendations, if any, are made. So this also forms the part of this chapter of conclusion, that you point out that as you did not have time or finances for the research of certain branches of this topic, so you recommend to suggest to the the future researchers that they can do research on the same topic, and these are the areas which can be covered, and you have found these areas during your research. The future researchers can make an effort, make an attempt to cover these areas. Similarly, sometimes we do such kind of researches in which we need to make some recommendations. So some recommendations are also made in this chapter of conclusion. Dear students, the final section of our research proposal or research thesis is reference. And this is the only topic that we have now left and which is untouched. But in the next 2 lectures, we are going to discuss this very important section of research proposal or research thesis. In this section, all the resources to which the researcher has consulted are written. These references may be books, research journals, internet, research articles, etc. These might be research theses as well. So, from where the researcher has got the help. He has studied a lot of books, lot of research journals, a lot of research articles, and he has consulted and a lot of internet resource. So he or she will have to write all those references or all those resources from which he or she has taken help. Now, these are written chronological, date-wise, alphabetically, and by following a particular style. We're going to discuss these styles in our next lecture. So that is why I have just briefly described what references are and how these are written. Dear students, this is the design of the research proposal that we have discussed. I have very interesting exercise for you at the end of this lecture. You have to write a research proposal on the topic of your choice. So you have to select a supposed topic, and it should be the topic of your interest. It should clearly indicate the division of chapters along with some detail of what you will write in each chapter. So after the selection of topic of your choice, you will write what you can write in the chapter of introduction, for example, about this topic, or what you will write in the chapter of literature review. How will you state the problem? How will you form the research questions about this topic? And finally, what kind of methodology you are going to use for research on this topic? How will you collect data and analyze it? And finally, what will be your conclusion? So you will form a regular kind of research proposal as your assignment. And naturally, you will add references at the end of it. Dear students, that's all from my side. Stay safe, stay blessed.